Welcome to Evolving Into Her. I'm Ashley Hope, and this is your weekly check-in to get out of your head, into your body, and back into alignment with the version of you who's already living the vision. So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's get into the show. Hey, welcome back to Evolving Into Her. I'm your host, Ashley Hope. And if you're new here, hello, welcome. Hi there. You are in the right place. You are going to love it here. This is the show where we talk about subconscious rewiring, nervous system regulation, breaking the patterns that have been running your life on autopilot. And we do all of that in service of one thing: becoming the woman who lives a deeply expansive, fulfilling, fun, juicy life. Not just one day, not in the future, but now, right now. All right. And that's what we do over here. And today is no different. Real quick, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, if this podcast has ever made you feel seen, if it's ever challenged you, or it's helped you take even one step closer to the woman you're becoming, please go leave a rating on Apple and or Spotify. It takes 30 seconds and it means everything to me. The algorithm works in mysterious ways, child, but these ratings really help this message reach the women it's meant to reach. So if you've been meaning to do it, I get it. I can be the same way and it's okay. But girl, today is the day. All right. So go ahead and pause. I'm going to wait for you. Pause and rate the show. Bonus points if you'd like to leave a written review on Apple as well. That really helps. And before we dive in today, I want to acknowledge something. I was talking about this on Threads the other day, but this month, March, marks 6 years since the pandemic started. 6 years. Like, where has the time gone by? But I'm mentioning this because there's something about this time of year that can bring up a lot of anxiety, heaviness, this unsettled feeling you can't really name. And with everything going on in the world right now, this can feel like a lot to carry. So if you're feeling it, that heaviness, that really dense energy, that anxiety, please take care of yourself. So eat well, eat more whole foods, minimize the alcohol, the sugar, the processed foods, move your body, even if it's a walk. Lean into your mindfulness and your nervous system regulation practices. Just really show yourself some extra love right now because your body remembers. Even though we consciously have kind of moved on, your body remembers. So you want to nourish it at this time, especially coupled with everything else that's going on in the world. And speaking of showing up for yourself, taking care of yourself, if you have been on the fence about 75 Her, listen, early bird pricing has closed, but there's still time to register. We start in 2 weeks, baby. Okay. And I know for some of you, 75 days sounds like a lot. It can maybe feel overwhelming. It could feel daunting. But baby, that time is going to pass anyway. And you get to choose who you're going to be, that woman you're going to be on the other side of this 2.5 months. So tap the link in my show notes to read more and to sign up, or you can visit www.ashleyhope.co. Okay, so today's topic, we are talking about celebration. Celebrating your wins, all of them. The big ones, yes, but especially the small ones, the ones that felt too insignificant to mention, the ones you blew right past, the one no one else even heard about or they saw. And I already know what some of y'all are thinking. Ashley, I have real goals. I do not have time to stop and celebrate every little thing. And girl, that thought right there, that thought process is exactly why we're going to have this conversation today. Because what I've seen in nearly a decade of this work is that the women who struggle to receive the big things, the money, the love, the recognition, the next level, they almost always stop practicing receiving the small things first. So strategy is not going to save you if your nervous system doesn't know how to receive. And celebration is just a small way that you can start training it too. So this episode is a direct piggyback to the last episode, episode 59. 6 signs your inner work is actually working, even when it doesn't feel like it. So go back and listen to that if you haven't. But today we're going one layer deeper because noticing and acknowledging your growth is one thing, but celebrating it is where the rewire actually happens. So, friend, grab something you can sip slow and let's get into the show. Okay, so I think I want to start with this point because I think what I'm about to share is actually the reason that many of us struggle with celebrating our wins, especially the small ones in the first place. And a lot of us, and I'm speaking to my Black women specifically right now, though I think many of you are going to feel this regardless of your background. A lot of us were raised in a culture of excellence. And this wasn't excellence as joy. This was excellence as a requirement, excellence as survival. There's a big difference there. So you had to be twice as good to get half as far. You had to show up and show out and never let them see you sweat. And somewhere in that conditioning, celebration got coded as weakness, as complacency, like you're settling. Like if you stopped to feel good about what you did, you were letting your guard down. Like the moment you exhaled, something would be taken from you or someone would take your spot. So you kept moving. You'd achieve the thing and then move right on to the next thing. You hit the goal and then you raise the bar before you even took a breath because that's what you were taught, because that's what felt safe. And I get it, I really do. But here's what I also know, that pattern, that relentless, never enough, keep going no matter what pattern, that is not discipline. That's a nervous system that never learned it was safe to rest in its own growth. It's basically hypervigilance. I know y'all are tired of this word, but it's true. And it got so deeply wired that it started to feel like strength. And I need you to hear me on this. You cannot expand from that place. Okay? You cannot call in more from that place. You cannot become her, the woman that God created you to be, from that place. So, celebrating your wins, especially the small ones, it is not indulgent. You're not doing too much. Baby, that is part of the work. Okay. So, reason number one why you should be celebrating your wins, especially the small ones, your brain needs this celebration to stay in momentum. So, we're going to touch on dopamine. Most of you have probably heard of it, but here's what most of y'all probably don't know: dopamine isn't just a reward chemical, it's a motivation signal. Okay. So, it's basically your brain's way of saying, yes, this direction, keep going. And every time you acknowledge a win, yes, even the small ones, your brain releases dopamine. But when you skip past the win and you go straight to the next thing, you keep pushing the bar back, your brain doesn't get that signal. And over time, this could be weeks, this could be months of achieving without acknowledging, stopping to acknowledge your wins, celebrate your wins. Your brain stops connecting the effort to any sense of reward. So the work is going to start feeling heavy. You're going to start feeling like you're running on empty, like you're burning out. And that's your nervous system running a pattern with no positive feedback loop. Friend, celebration creates the loop and it helps keep you in momentum because you're literally training your brain to keep going. And reason number two, your subconscious is always listening, it's always recording. So, your subconscious mind is collecting evidence every single day, and it's building a story about who you are and what's possible for you, and it's using your own behavior as the proof. So, when you never celebrate, when you just keep moving and pushing and achieving without pausing to acknowledge any of it, your subconscious hears, nothing I do is ever enough. And I promise you, it will act accordingly. And it'll keep you in the familiar. It'll talk you out of the next step. It will find 1,000 reasons why you're not ready yet. But when you stop, even for 10 seconds, you don't have to do too much. You don't got to buy balloons and a cake, but let yourself really feel the win. When you do that, you give your subconscious something different to work with. You give it new evidence, you give it a new story. And the new story sounds like, okay, I am someone who follows through. I am someone who's consistent. I am someone who is devoted to my becoming. I am someone who's evolving and growing. And that's basic subconscious reprogramming. Subconscious reprogramming 101. It does not have to be hard. In the words of Lauryn Hill, it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Do not make this work hard. This is how easy it can be. The rewire actually happens through repetition and through the emotional charge you attach to a moment. So the feeling is what makes it real. The celebration is what creates the change. And honestly, you could stop the podcast here. Like, what other reasons do you need? I'm going to keep going, but girl, I've given you some solid reasons why you should be celebrating your wins, but let's keep going. Reason number 3. You attract what your nervous system believes is normal. And we've touched on this before, but your brain has a system called the RAS, or reticular activating system. And its whole job is to filter your reality. It's the algorithm of your reality. So, out of the millions of things happening around you at any given moment, your RAS is what decides what you actually notice. And so it filters based on what you've told it is important and what you've told it is true. So when you celebrate wins, you're training your RAS to look for more evidence of growth, more evidence of possibility, more evidence that you are that girl, that you are doing the damn thing, more evidence that things are working for your good. And it is so. And so your brain starts to notice things it would have completely filtered out before: opportunities, confirmations, proof. And this is what people mean when they talk about a success mindset. This isn't wishing, this isn't hoping. It's your nervous system operating from a new normal, one where good things are expected, where growth is the baseline, where expansion feels familiar. And I hate to break it to you, you don't attract from just staring at your vision board, okay? You attract from your nervous system's default state. And celebration is one of the many ways that you can change the default. All right, reason number 4 why you should be celebrating all of your wins, especially the small ones. Reason number 4, you cannot receive what you haven't practiced receiving. Note taking girlies, write that down. You cannot receive what you haven't practiced receiving. And a nervous system that has been in survival mode, and for a lot of high achieving women, that's exactly where we've been. But a nervous system in survival mode cannot fully receive. It can produce, yes. It can perform, it can achieve, it can hit every single goal on your list, but receive, like actually take something in and let it be enough, that requires safety. That requires your body believing it's okay to stop and be held by the moment, to trust. And if you're conditioned to always keep going, to never slow down, to prove yourself over and over, your body never learned to receive. That exhale never felt safe. So, celebrating a win, even a small one, is a regulation practice. And it's telling your nervous system, girl, we are safe now. Something good is happening, and we are allowed to feel it. There is no threat here. We can breathe, we can relax, we can be. And from that place, this regulated, open, safe place, you become available to so much more. The world literally becomes your oyster. You are open to the next level, to the abundance you're calling in, to the version of yourself you're becoming, the relationships you desire and deserve, the opportunities. You have to practice receiving in the small ways so your body trusts receiving in the big ways. Okay? Okay. And reason number 5, identity is built in the moments you choose to acknowledge. So if you listen to the last episode, episode 59, if you haven't yet, you can go back and listen to it or listen to it again. It's a good one. But if you listen to that episode, you know that the inner work is quiet and it doesn't always look like anything on the outside. And because we're so conditioned to measure progress by visible, tangible results, sometimes we can dismiss everything that doesn't have a receipt attached to it yet. But here's what I know to be true, friend. Identity doesn't shift in one big dramatic moment. It shifts in accumulation. It's the 100 small moments where you chose differently, where you caught the old pattern, you did something new, where you showed up when you wanted to hide. And then you noticed and you said, that was me. I did that, but I'm changing. And the noticing is what makes it real. The celebration is what makes it yours. It's what rewires your mind because your brain is always asking, who am I? And so every time you celebrate a win, you're answering that question on purpose with intention. And you are saying, I am someone who grows. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who is evolving on purpose. I am someone who is self aware. Okay. And reason number 6, why you should be celebrating all of your wins. You're allowed to feel good right now. I don't even need to explain this one, but we're going to go there. This is the one I really want you to leave with. I really want you to take notes, make a mental note, let it resonate as truth. This life that you are living right now, this is not practice, baby. You in a game, all right? And you're not going to get a do-over. And this is not a waiting room. This is not a rough draft you get to redo once everything falls into place. Once you lose the 20 pounds, once you get the dream job, once you meet your dream person. Girl, this is your actual life. And time is passing, whether you do the work or not. And the woman living this life, the one doing the work, the one showing up imperfectly, the one healing in real time, the one becoming on purpose, the one who is celebrating, the one who is still prioritizing her joy, prioritizing her peace, even though the world is a fiery, ghetto, hot, raggedy mess right now, that woman, she deserves to feel good about herself right now, not later, not when the goal is hit, not when you hit the next milestone, when you accomplish the next thing, once you get the next degree, the next certification, girl, right now. And so much of what many of us were taught was rooted in productivity and output and what we could produce for others. And somewhere along the way, we internalized the idea that our joy, that our pride, that our sense of enoughness, that it all had to be earned first. And baby, let me tell you, let me share the good news. You get to rewrite that. You get to decide that showing up is enough to celebrate. That effort counts. That growth is worth honoring before it produces a visible result. So, celebrating your wins is how you come back to yourself. It's how you stop living in the permanent ache of not yet and start inhabiting who you already are. She's already in there. She's always been, and she deserves to be celebrated today, okay? As she is, imperfectly, on the way to where she's going. So, friend, there are your 6 reasons. There are many reasons, but these 6 are pretty solid. 6 reasons why you should celebrate your wins, all of your wins, especially the small ones. And I want to give you one thing to do before you close this app. Think of one win from this week, just one. It could be small, it doesn't have to be big. And I want you to say it out loud or write it down and just let yourself actually feel it for 10 seconds. You don't got to do the most. You don't have to sit crisscross applesauce for 15 minutes. You don't have to pray on it. You don't have to journal out a whole page. Just sit with it for 10 seconds. Let yourself really feel the win, appreciate the win, acknowledge yourself, and don't skip past it. Really feel it. That is the practice, okay? That's where it starts. All right, friend, if this episode resonated, go back and listen to episode 59. It is the perfect companion to everything we talked about today. And if you are ready to go all the way in, the doors to 75 Her are still open and we start in 2 weeks. It's a 75-day feminine embodiment experience built around regulating your nervous system, rewiring your subconscious, and fully stepping into her on purpose. I feel like a lot of y'all are going to timeline jump in this experience. Y'all are going to quantum leap. And to be honest, I'm preparing for mine. All right. I told y'all in the previous episode, when I did this challenge last year, it was my first one. I had everyone set an intention at the beginning. And I affirmed that it was going to change my life. And it has. I have assumed the identity of a successful podcaster. And the growth that I've seen in the first year, especially with just an audio podcast, has been massive. You can't even explain it. It makes no sense. It's one touch of God's favor. All praises to the Most High. And I am her. I said I was going to be her. I did the work while we're in the challenge. I launched it right before the challenge ended. 9 months later, here we are, 15,000 monthly downloads, 200,000 monthly impressions, like converting clients. It's the top of the funnel in my business. Like, I am her. This work is powerful. Being consistent is powerful. Being in the room with other women who believe and who are doing the work, who are devoted to their becoming, is powerful. Per usual, the link to join is in the show notes. I heard that some of y'all can't find the show notes. Girl, if you can't find the show notes, go to www.ashley, A-S-H-L-E-E, hope, H-O-P-E, .co, ashleyhope.co, and you will find the link to sign up for the 75 Her Challenge. All right, friend, I love you. Thank you for spending your Tuesday with me. I will see you next week. And until next time, stay in devotion to your becoming. I'm Ashley Hope, and you've been listening to Evolving into Her. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for choosing her, for choosing yourself. And until next time, stay in devotion to your becoming.